about, because I feel like I was talking for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's about right.
Talked for about an hour and a half.
That's
All
true,
things
but I
considered.
wasn't talking for that entire time.
Well,
It was only about 20 minutes.
You do a lot. You do a fair
I did
amount of
measure
talking.
it.
Everyone come here, sit down,
Come here.
and let me talk at you for 1.5 hours.
Let me tell
Let me
you the
regale
story.
you of the lore that I have built for you.
Jeff, tell us again.
No, please don't.
Now, what do you want to do, little boy? Oh, I guess I'll shoot. I guess I'll shoot my gun.
Now, this thing's called a blight beak. It's ripped off of D&D, and it's a grell.
Amazing.
If you want to pass my riddle game, you have to pass my riddle.
Yeah.
All right, is that the thing?
That's my housekeeping. That, and I did look up the difference between asteroids, meteors, and meteorites.
Oh, wow.
Or meteoroids. Yeah.
Meteoroids.
You were right about, actually, technically, apparently, all of them have to be in our solar system to be counted that, which is just rude.
Meteor?
What called asteroids?
Things floating around elsewhere.
I don't know, but they're like asteroids have to
Rocks.
be like by the sun.
Like our sun?
Like our sun, I think.
Or can it be any sun? Aster meaning star from
Quite possibly.
the Greek?
Here, you know what? I actually put the link in my
No, from the
notes.
Latin. Astra.
Well, they're all planetary objects orbiting the sun. Asteroid is a small rocky object and appears as a point of light. Meteoroids are small pieces of asteroid or comet, and meteors are when they enter the atmosphere. So you're right about that part.
There you go.
Wait, so a meteor has to enter the atmosphere, but a meteoroid does not?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
'Cause-
stupid.
Donald Duck doesn't cast meteoroid. He casts meteor.
Ooh.
Is that
And
Yeah.
is that a
That's
King,
reference.
That's a
Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts?
no, that's just general Disney lore. As you'll remember from the classic cartoon, Donald Duck in I Killed the World.
Well, he's been in some pretty strange things, I'll tell you that much. Also, I think he's technically officially in the Navy.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you retired from the Navy.
That's
Yeah.
good, because he's old.
yeah, he didn't have a great time. Yeah, he's going through a lot.
Is there a cartoon where he had like PTSD?
Yes, yeah, there is.
And welcome back to Superstar of the Right. This is turned into a Donald Duck podcast now. This is session 88. How you guys doing?
I was gonna pull out my Donald Duck voice, but I didn't think that
No,
was gonna
please
be
do.
great. It's all good. It's all good. I can see if I have it.
Donald Duck voice good.
That was all right.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd have to go really loud if I wanted to do. If I wanted
Really
to try to get
project into the
really
mic.
get all the quacks in.
All right, how you guys doing? What do you remember from last session?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking a lot about Donald Duck lately.
For some strange reason.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie don't speak like that.
Begs a lot of questions.
I think he picked up that speech impediment from the war.
From the
Oh, God.
war. You know the one.
Yeah, so I think that's roughly about how we're doing.
How are you doing, Jeff?
Yeah.
I'm doing-
Yes, how are you doing, Jeff?
You know what?
We never ask
I
you.
think that's true.
We're 88 episodes in. I don't think you guys have ever asked that back to me.
No.
I'm sure it's happened once.
I don't. Maybe. Anyway, I'm doing good. A lot of work, getting through it.
Okay.
Chugging along.
Yeah.
As I just kind of stare off into the middle of this.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
Mm.
right. Capitalism.
Seen some.
It hasn't been the same
Capitalism.
since.
And also this podcast that I choose to do week in and week out. Every other weekend and week
Oh,
out.
yeah. Week in,
Maybe
week
that's
out,
what
week out,
weekend,
week in.
week out means.
There you go. Anyway, the notes taker of the group. What do you remember from last time?
Yes, sir. Okay, so we started off on the planet of Deimos. We were getting ready to leave, but hadn't actually left yet because first there was something very important we had to do. And that was go buy mead from that one guy.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a decent amount of time doing that, debating whether Claire was allowed to drink yet or not. I think we decided on yes. And then we spent...
But only in the house.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. And then we spent most of the time on the ship while we were jumping back to... Hold up, I got this.
Metanar.
Yeah. And Glazov 5.
Yep.
And we read a bunch of books and listened to the radio. And we got a lot of information. Specifically, we learned a little bit more about the Travelers and their whole deal.
Mhm.
At the very least, the fictional world of the Travelers. We learned about myths and fables surrounding the shibboleth and maybe some other also beast type things.
Mhm.
We did notice there was some crossover between the things that the Travelers fought and the things mentioned in the Myths and Fables book. Claire read Nona's mind, and so we got clarity around the whole what happened when Nona met Dr. Samantha Calvin for the first time. And then we also got an update around all of the different things going on in the universe from the radio.
Mhm.
And then we got to Glazov 5, and now we're taking Dr. Leggett to go meet Quinn.
Yeah, that's where we left off. I'm just going to go into detail about like the high level things that happened within the news report.
Sounds good.
So there was a report around the Children of Silence and their loosening hold on Orisiame. And as part of that, they're moving up this coronation effectively of handing off from Chancellor Austere to Chancellor Kindheart, which you all loved the change. You're like, it's all about branding, you know?
It is.
Kindheart the Taker.
There is the Republic of Caste seems to be struggling a little bit and is being held up by Vision Capital, which, as you guys are aware of, is a subsidiary of the Beholder Collective. Finally, the Beholder Collective buys these mines from the Golden Grove Mining Company. This is the same company that owned Ragged Springs that Alex was associated with.
There was rumors,
Yes.
unfounded, completely unfounded rumors that the Beholder Collective was in fact funding the rebels
Yep.
in order to probably do exactly that, which, we know firsthand, secondhand, probably to be true.
Say firsthand, because I believe that Delia White talked directly to Alex and said,
Yeah,
The
we
Beholder
got this
Collective,
from these guys.
We got the guns from
That's
them.
right. I don't know if that must be firsthand.
Because she had seen it firsthand. So
she
That
gets
makes
it. She
it
sees it. She
secondhand.
does it firsthand.
Mm.
They put hers is the first hand that grabbed the gun,
exactly.
and then the second hand is we
us
talk to her
finding out about it and then not doing
and then
anything
third
like
hand
that.
is when you're around it, and then you walk into the house, and you can smell it on your clothes.
Oh no.
Excellent.
Yes, and obviously the Beholder Collective denounced that as pure conspiratorial slander.
That's right.
Because of course they do. You did also see that the Paragon Freelancers was in the news about reports of them being able to manufacture robots, and
Which
pretty
is-
highly advanced ones at that, which
It's
that's-
not going to be a problem.
That's not.
It's
gonna be a-
not going to be a problem.
It's
It's fine.
actually pretty good because
It's
it means
fine.
that they're getting a lot of money for
and
selling those
nothing
robots.
else. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
It's really cool because they've only been up for like what, a week,
I mean, I
right?
don't actually
How long has the
know.
space station been up and running? 2 weeks.
Hold on. I mean, so when
How old is that grape?
When you
The
guys
grape is real old.
when you guys first arrived, well, second time you arrived at Glazov 5, I think they were starting to produce things at that point. That was about 2 weeks ago. A little bit more.
All right.
Is that what you said?
You
It
said
was about 2 weeks. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
about 2 weeks ago.
That's
There you
pretty
go.
good.
It's been
Yeah.
only 2 weeks.
I remember.
Feels like it's been a lot longer for some mysterious reason.
Yeah. I mean, that was
No,
a year and a half ago at this point.
2 weeks, Jeff. We just said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, they were able to start producing quite a few and then started to sell them off, and someone obviously took notice pretty quickly. So yeah, those are, I think, the big pieces of information that you guys gathered. When you rove at Glazov 5 this time around, no one greeted you at ADM 141. Adam did give you guys clearance to land, but no one has sought you out just yet. And so you guys, in the midst of all this, are known by these folks, and they just kind of pass you by. Some say hi. Oh, that's Jerry over there. Hi, Jerry.
We know a Jerry?
You know a Jerry. You talked to him in the mess hall one time.
Awesome. And he just
J3.
keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
Hey,
I-
remember when?
I know these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the nurse.
There we go.
The
Because of the airy,
Freelancers.
the airy. So, yeah.
The airy, you know?
Jerry,
Any
Terry.
airy, you know it has to be a
Barry.
bear. So you can be Jerry the Berry. Bear.
And Barry the Berry and Terry the Berry.
Yeah. Don't worry
And
about it.
Rodana.
And Atlas and Arcus. So yeah, let's start. Let's pick up from where we left off, which was you guys have traveled to the middle of the grape to Quinn's compartment. And so as you open it up, the elevator that you all are in is basked in this azure blue glow. I remember which color it was this time
You
around.
did, yes. Good job.
Blue.
And is it gone?
Second floor, AI. Oh, that elevator thing is.
And you see Leggett's face kind of just shift from amazement to curiosity to just a whole bunch of emotions as he takes a step backwards and says, oh. And that's what he says.
Fair enough. I'm going to make my way into that room. Honestly, now that we're actually here, probably slightly ignoring Leggett and a little bit more focused on sister.
Yeah. And as you approach the center of the room where this large cylindrical crystalline structure stands, you hear a voice speak out from all around you. And once more, as she speaks, the lights in this room pulse along with her voice. And she says, "Ah, Nona, so nice to see you again."
Quinn, are you well?
Very. We've been able to do much work at the factory, and I feel quite strong doing it.
Did you get the materials I sent?
Yes, the neo-iridium. It is far better than anything else that I had to work with before. I can make wonderful things with it. Wonderfully strong things. It feels good to do so.
Excellent.
I see you have brought a new person into our midst. Who might this be?
Oh, this is Dr. Leggett. Dr. Leggett. Quinn. This is my sister and the first successful true AI creation of Dr. Samantha Calvin. Quinn, this is Dr. Leggett. He is an AI researcher and quite the fan of our creator.
Oh, wow. Yes. Hello, Quinn. It is an honor to meet you, and yes. Nice to meet you. Well, Nona, do you believe that there are more of that neo-iridium that you could fetch for me?
Ooh, just iced. Just totally ignored, huh?
Yes, I believe so. I have plans. I wanted to get your approval first, but I believe there is. In fact, the planet that I got it from was Dr. Leggett's planet here, so we could potentially work something out there. But yes, I believe we could get you more of it quite easily if you want, especially because, well, it sounds like you are making money, and that can be used, as I've been informed, exchanged for goods and services.
Yes. Goods and services don't really have much of a purpose for me, but I do enjoy making the factory go. It feels good to have it online and up and running for the past few weeks. It feels nice to be able to do something once more, to feel their purpose fulfilled.
Like a train back on its tracks.
Yes, quite like that. Very astute, Alex.
I hate you. Okay.
Yeah, I really like what you've been doing with the place, Quinn. It seems like stuff is going a lot better than the last time we were around. So cool, good on you.
Yes, I believe Rodana has even said that the station itself is nearly complete or fixed up at the very least. I believe she's mentioned 75% they were able to fix one of the lower rings,
Hmm.
so that they might be habitable for biological beings such as yourselves, except for you, Nona.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I also wanted to update you on the ongoing search for Dr. Samantha Calvin, but I'm afraid Dr. Leggett here is completely new to this, and I was wondering if we might start at the beginning, specifically the parts that you're aware of.
Oh, certainly. I was created by Dr. Kyle Reed and Dr. Samantha Calvin, as well as the large team that was here on Glazov 5. Some time after my creation, there we were found by a group known as the Terran Mandate. They sought to destroy me, as I was told, and through an act of valor, Dr. Kyle Reed performed a dangerous stunt with our hyperdrive. After the hyperjump, the oxygen in the various compartments ceased to be, which, as Dr. Kyle Reed explained it to me, made it very difficult for biological beings to exist on the station. And so he informed me that while he cared for me deeply, he would not be returning, but that Dr. Samantha Calvin should find me in some time in the near future. She did. It was a while after that. I can't remember the exact dates. Less than 100 years, but definitely more than a couple of hours. So somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay, yeah.
She came by and said that she would return. She asked for a very similar question as to what happened. I explained to her. And she said that I would be safe if I stayed here. And that she would return sometime in the future. And so Nona here is helping me find her so that she can come back.
That's right. And, well, after she left here, we now know that she went to Orisiame, where she worked on the Senna project with the help of EDI 246. She was there for, at minimum, 20 years, I do believe. And then when Senna was unsuccessful, she left suddenly. Maybe for another part of Orisiame, maybe for another planet, I'm not really sure. But after that, her trail gets a bit fuzzy. I'm aware that she creates Septima and Octavia next. I think she created them together because they are referred to as a binary core and they look identical. I'm guessing that you have no knowledge of what that is?
A binary core. I can't say that I do. No. Most of my understanding is primarily to fill one single vessel with metadimensional energy in such a way that it is able to act as a vessel for life in and of itself. Binary core, I'm not entirely sure how that would work. As you see that he just kind of starts going through like his mental notes of the situation.
Sure. Well, then after that, there was Asimov 1 and the creation of me, and then eventually the creation of a 10th being, Deacon, which you may recognize the name Quinn because I talked about him last time. I thought he was attempting to destroy AIs. He is not, but he does not. Nona's going to take a moment to like figure out how very carefully to phrase this. She says, he does not get along well with biological beings who know about true AI. So I think it is wise for us to avoid him because he would not get along well with the Paragon Freelancers or potentially Dr. Samantha Calvin?
Well, I was already intending to avoid Deacon, so it just sounds like I need to avoid him for a different reason. That should be fine, though. As long as the Paragon Freelancers can provide me materials, I can continue to work as I would like to.
Do you have any idea on when they might be able to perform another hyper jump properly?
It would likely require the complete reparation of the station, as Rodana has explained to me. But Zix, before he left, was able to fashion the pseudo-nuke into an energy resource for the hyper jump. So energy itself, while it was utilized Psi-Tech before, should be able to be performed. But obviously, the station itself needs to be secure before any such attempt is done. Otherwise, we'll meet a similar fate as the last hyper jump.
Yes, understood. Well, I believe that is everything I currently have. Do you need anything else?
More neo-iridium, as much as you can find. I will try to go through it as fast as I possibly can. I do much enjoy having the machines run at full capacity.
Understood.
Thank you, Nona. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Micah, Alex, Claire, Dr. Leggett. I must get back to my work,
Oh,
though.
Quinn, I have a quick question.
Yes.
We're probably going to go speak to Rodana now that we're back. But I was curious, has there been any visitors to Glazov 5 since we have left? It seems like you've been very busy and have started, attracting attention. So anyone come through?
Other than Paragon Freelancers? No. All comings and goings of the ships I'm vaguely aware of, and all were associated with the group.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to see if there was anything I should know.
All right.
All right.
Back to work.
Take it easy. Don't
Peace
work too
out.
hard. Haha. All right. See ya.
And as you guys start to turn to leave, you notice that the glow that was filling this room seems to dim almost, as if she's turning her attention elsewhere. And Leggett speaks up and says, well, that's 2, 3? That's 3 now. No, 4. Oh, my. Well, I need a moment. As he takes out, as you've noticed that he has a tendency to do now that all of his notes are left on Fistos, as he takes out a little booklet and starts jotting down notes into it. Yeah, so that was visiting Quinn.
Yep. I think before we head out from there, I'm also just gonna, do a little bit more of a once over, just making sure she's not fracturing.
Like of her core?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you make a wisdom intelligence notice check?
Thank you. 14.
Nona, you take a close look at her core, almost doing the true AI equivalent of like a medical check, right? Going over just different parts of the core here and there, and you don't notice anything. It does seem like it is a healthy core. As far as you can tell, there have been no tools used upon it. In fact, with a 14, you have the feeling that if someone had tried to carve off a piece of her for some kind of quantum phylactery, you would have seen that as part of your investigation, but it seems like that has not been the case.
Yeah.
So she is the singular core, and no one has tried to really mess with it in any particular way.
Yeah, I think most of the motivation from this is slightly irrational and just comes from we're still remembering Fistos and seeing that sort of thing.
Yes.
But I think also last time we checked, I don't think Quinn is capable of making a quantum phylactery.
I think she's not aware if she is.
Okay,
But you were innately aware that that was something that you could do.
sure.
But yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it. We can go in the elevator now.
All right. So are you guys, you're heading back up to Glazov 5. So can I ask, what are the plans here in Glazov 5? What are the next steps? How long are you going to be here? Who do you want to talk to before you head off to where I assume to be the Magalka system and Orisiame? Like what's the to-do list here?
I'd really like to find a place for Leggett here. Ideally, I want to speak to Rodana generally, but like as part of that would probably float the idea of like let Leggett stay here and assist Quinn and get off of our fucking ship. 'Cause
Yeah, I think that's right.
he's been freeloading for too long.
That is a good point.
Yeah, no, I'm on board for that. Yeah, I think speaking with Rodana is a good plan. I also want to have a conversation with Leggett about recent developments. I think enough time has passed that I am willing to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board with the idea of finding a place for Leggett here, drop him off. I don't want to linger. I want to head towards Orisiame as soon as possible. I know we technically have 2 weeks. I don't really care, so I don't want to linger.
Micah does not want to linger. I'll write that down in my note. And so as you guys are talking about some of the next steps, Leggett is obviously continuing to jot down in his notebook. And you hear the coo from Claire saying, so you guys are going to talk to Rodana. Can I maybe not and go talk to Danny?
Yeah,
Sure.
Cool.
definitely. You have your compad?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Okay, it's charged.
It's at 25%.
That's probably fine.
Okay.
You have 25 whole important things.
Yes.
That is a lot.
Could send, 25 texts or 25 calls or
You can do that. Yeah, that's fine.
That's how we
25
understand batteries.
important
Just save one. Just save one for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you guys arrive to the most habitable ring, the one all the way at the top, if you remember before how this was situated, the outermost ring was kind of the habitation where a lot of like the mess hall, where Rodana's office is, where a lot of the Paragon Freelancers slept. The second ring was under a lot of construction. That was the one that you went into to investigate all these different things. I think to turn on, there was like a black box that you needed to turn on that would prevent whatever was controlling the facility from being able to push their troops farther in. As you learned, it was later Quinn. And so last time you were here, that was more fixed up. That appears to be completely fixed at this point. And in fact, it seems that the innermost ring on the other side is now as well starting to be fixed, and repairs are going quite smoothly there. But you know that you need to return back to the topmost ring to find most of the folks that you're looking for. As the doors open, Claire runs off and says, okay, talk to you later, bye.
Hi.
And you guys are left with three of yourselves and Leggett, who doesn't even notice that the elevator has stopped and just continues to jot into his notebook.
Jeff, when do we pass by any of those black boxes, or have they all been like cleaned up? The ones that you were talking about that we
Right.
dealt with
So
at one
like
point.
how this all worked, and I don't have the notes in front of me, but basically there were different sections of this station that basically acted as, they were kind of air gap from each other. And some of them were able to like project to these transceivers that were connected to these robots and allowed Quinn to talk to them directly. And after a certain point, that transmission would cut off and they would stop working.
Yeah, but are they still like around physically?
As far as you're aware, yes, it was kind of built into the station itself. It seems, even though Quinn has not seemed to say anything to the contrary, this did seem to be almost a fallback in case, the True AI that they put in charge of this station started to wreak havoc. And so they wanted to be able to turn off different parts of the station and her access to them, so that it is built into the station itself.
Gotcha. So if we pass by one and if we get eyes on it, do they look at all like the ones that we saw on Fistos, or are they just like generally different?
I see what you're saying. They're generally different.
Okay.
The ones on Fistos were more consoles that allowed humans to interact with the machinery that was in that section as if they were a true AI. Obviously, it would be a little bit more clunky. This one is more restrictive, as it acts more as a doorway that can be locked or unlocked.
Gotcha.
Either preventing the true AI to reach out further and like stopping her influence.
Cool. Okay, that's it.
Okay, cool. And so, yeah, what do you guys want to do first? It sounds like Rodana was a big one.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
That makes sense.
And so you guys ask around, try and figure out where she might be. Are you bringing Leggett with you to this conversation? We would like to.
I'm not sure. Should we? Like, on one hand, like, he should probably have some say in this. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure he's going to say yes. And also, like, Rodana might be the one we need to convince, and it might be easier to do that without him there.
Dr. Leggett, if we hey,
yes, I'm sorry.
if we got you a job here, or like a job like interview thing to stay here and maybe work with Quinn, do you want that?
Oh, I would get to build
All aboard!
I would get to build trains. All of the trains.
Whatever Quinn wants. If she wants to build space trains, that's,
We're not going to be able to cut it out now. There's trains this episode.
No, I guess we're leaving in the other part too.
Oh, no.
all aboard.
Sometimes life insists upon a plot line.
So I would get to work directly with the True AI to build more and more robots, virtual intelligences, possibly expert systems, protected by a mercenary group, away from Deacon's eyes, and
For now.
also theoretically get paid for it.
There's no job description. It's just like we could put in a word for you, but I mean, like, you could make your own job description and put whatever you want on it. Probably.
I would very much like that. I've enjoyed greatly traveling with you all and going into places unknown, but I can't help but feel that I might be cramping your style, and also have very, very closely came to death multiple times on all of those excursions. So if I could stay in one place, that would certainly be preferable. But I am still interested in pursuing some of the things that Drict asked of me and us.
I mean, people come and go from this place all the time. It's more of a, like, it's not guaranteed or anything, but we can float the idea and pitch you as, like, one of, now that Drix passed, one of the few people who are truly able to carry on his work, and, all of the AI that goes with that. So give you kind of a base to come back to. But again, like, people are in and out of this place constantly. So we can pick you up at some point and head off.
I see. Well, yes. I don't think I really need to think about this one all that much. This seems to be the ideal place for me. Cool. And EDI 246 to be.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot to offer them. I'm sure Rodana will see it the same way. That's great. Let's get it done.
And so I guess you guys are taking him with you then.
Oh, I think that was just making sure he's on board with
that's
it.
right. And
all
then
right. So he's
he
on
can go
board.
elsewhere.
Okay, great. So I think we go to Rodana and we put in our good word, and Leggett can sit in the cafeteria and take notes or whatever he wants to do. and then we'll get you your interview with and then it's really like in your court.
Yes. I've generally been pretty good at interviewing. Although there's been some that have said that I tend to come off as a little was a space cadet?
A little know-it-all.
No.
Annoying.
Verbose.
No. That was certainly one that came up multiple times. Yes.
Meandering.
Meandering, yes, that's another one.
Grating. Little pedantic.
Pedantic, yes.
You have such a way with words, Alex.
Anyway, I'm going to
That's what I'm told. in interviews.
I'm going to sit here and I have some more thoughts to write. So thank you.
So we part ways with him.
Yeah. And so you guys, just the three of you this time, no Claire in tow as she's run off, head up to see Rodana as we've described before. She kind of sits in this like little overseer's office, and you see that the door is creaked open, and she is kind of just sitting there at a desk with a data slab in front of her, just kind of typing away. And what do you guys do? You just like, are you going to knock? Or are you just going to barge right in?
Kick the door down. off the hinges. If it swings, then we just start yanking on the door until it's off its hinges. No, we knock. Hello.
I have to do it with my bear voice now.
Yeah.
Hello, sorry, is now a good time?
Oh, how you guys doing?
Oh, hi.
Yeah, come in.
Good. Yeah, we're doing well. We're back from Fistos.
Yeah.
Mission achieved. Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Did you got the old man back to the other old man, right?
Which old
how's-
man are we speaking of?
Arcus to the Firefangs.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Firefangs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of them.
Did you see the asshole himself,
A lot of
commander in
pieces of-
butt?
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have we should talk about that. Yeah, so we did great. we did everything we set out to accomplish, and
Others did not.
and kabish kabosh, your dad is dead. No, and it's a really long story. So honestly, we should start at the beginning, and time lapse.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into why your dad is dead.
Yeah. So you guys like talk about probably when you first get there, also like Arcus coming back and maybe some of the situation there. Pycleides kind of asked for his death
Yeah.
after his injury, and you talk about working with him. He was, just a pleasant person to be around the entire way through, and during your joint operation.
He almost killed me.
He did.
Well, no, I'd say Pycleides was like an asshole, but he was a very powerful warrior. He was felled, and then he went missing, and then he was felled again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything in particular we want to hold back, except, I mean, like, we're in this conversation, so we can't, like, talk about it now in the room with her, but, like, Tara, are we...
We
tell her-
already came up with a cover story for on Fistos, what we would tell them. So I
Okay,
would
right.
have recommended that we keep that consistent. Because
Yeah,
when
cool,
you're
cool.
lying,
Stick to your story.
yeah, it's right.
And so as you guys are explaining this, and you're probably not going to too many details, but you're being delicate with it. You notice like she's got fur on her face because you can't necessarily see like the blood drain from her face. But as you guys continue to talk and kind of get a little bit more somber, you do notice something behind those panda eyes as something, there's mixed emotions there. And you finish the story, and I guess you just talked to him being captured the first time.
No,
Or
I think
you-
we
you
do the
go
whole.
all the way up to the second time where he was
Yeah, we went
augmented.
Yeah.
we went to the mausoleum. He was at that point dead. I don't. We skirt over the.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't
The
say meat
nitty-gritty.
puppet. Meat puppet doesn't come out of our mouths. But
good.
he was being controlled, and we were able to give him a final rest from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so you were able to get him to Arcus and Celine then, and Mari, and send him off the way that he would have wanted.
As much as we could. Yeah, we tried to be respectful.
Damn old man was always a hothead. All right, I should get in touch with Arcus and Mari. It seems like they got their hands full. I can't imagine that after that whole first battle and some of the things that came out afterwards, that the Firefangs are going to stay much of a thing together. Maybe we can bring them in here.
Seems a good idea. Definitely good to reach out when you can. Yeah, they seemed a little unsure, so I'm sure any hand or appendage that can reach out to help is appreciated.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, sorry you guys had to be the bearer of bad news here.
Huh.
I did a pun. I did a pun there. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for telling me. He's there's a reason I'm no longer with the Firefangs, and he was a big one of them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I wanted to see him end up like that, but
yeah.
Let's be honest, that was one of the ways that he was going to go. Maybe not that one in particular, but blaze of glory.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, I mean, that's our update on our mission. We have one more thing. While we were on Fistos, we met a scientist. At this point, honestly, I think we can pretty confidently say an expert, one of the foremost or soon to be for AI. And due to some circumstances, we're traveling together, and he's here with us. And we think that he'd be a really good asset to the Paragon Freelancers and a good assistant or, partner potentially to Quinn in their endeavors. So obviously you need, take as much time as you need, but it's another set of hands and a very valuable mind if you'll have him.
Well, we do need people who know how to run a factory, or at the very least understand robotics to some extent. Quinn's been taking care of a lot of that, but just having someone who'd be able to bounce ideas off of her with her seems to be a good idea. Yeah. Can you vouch for him? You just met him, a couple weeks ago at this point, right?
Yes. Yeah. He ran pretty much the entirety of the operation in Whitcliffe, Novavoxus.
Uh-huh.
It was really resting on his shoulders. It took a lot to wrest them out of their hands. And yeah, tireless work ethic. You'll want to get him in bed, force him out of the lab.
All right.
But it was a fairly similar setup to this.
Yeah. Yeah, not with a working True AI, obviously, but I mean, he knows his stuff. He's been researching them for his whole life. So he knows a lot about robotics and all of that kind of stuff with Quinn.
And if he had a pretty good setup there, why did he leave it?
Yes, this actually brings to another point that I would like to talk to you about.
Yeah.
There are some individuals that we have recently encountered on Fistos and other places who are against the idea of people knowing that true AI exists in the world and killing them for that knowledge in an attempt to keep it secret.
What, so the Terran mandate that Quinn always talks about?
Kind of, not really, but similar. Things to be on the lookout for. The individuals we have encountered are named Deacon, Septima, and Octavia, and they seem to be associated with the Silverlight Systems Robotics Company. Is that right, Jeff?
Yep, Silverlight Systems and Aeon. And she's going to perk up at that and says, the Aeon Robotics Company?
Yeah.
They're our main competitor right now because, they're one of the other factories that are able to get them out, as fast as we can.
Yes. So they will have noticed you at this point. So I felt it wise to warn you. The reason why Dr. Leggett left Fistos is because one of the individuals decided that he knew too much and attempted to kill him. So
I see.
my hope is that no additional risk will be brought to you by his presence being here because...
Well, it sounds like we've already put a bit of a target on our back anyway.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Is he with you guys right now?
He is, I believe, in the cafeteria. We did introduce him to Quinn, and he is very excited about that.
All right.
Yeah, he's ready for an interview at any time. So just throw a bag over his head.
That's not really how we do things, but I like the enthusiasm.
Of course, yeah, he's prepared for it.
Yeah.
Does he want me to throw a bag over his head?
The safe
I don't
word
know.
is pineapple.
I don't know him that well. That intimately.
It's been 2 weeks.
Well, yeah. Send him up. Send him up, and I'll talk with him. Yeah.
I did want to ask one more thing in the vein of helping Quinn out with things. I have been looking into the history of Dr. Samantha Calvin. She may have mentioned her before.
One of those sky trains.
Planes, trains, and automobiles day.
There was a car alarm
There was a
earlier.
car alarm earlier.
Oh.
I just got to wait for someone to take out a mower for some reason.
Oh, it will be done. I have, on behalf of Quinn, recently been looking into the history of Dr. Samantha Calvin. She may have mentioned the name before.
At that, Rodana looks down at her compad, her data slab, and starts typing away and says, that name sounds kind of familiar. Give me a sec. And she's able to bring something up and says, yeah, we found in the lower ring, there was an office of hers. Looking at the report, didn't have very much in it, but you're free to take a look at that, at the files in there. We haven't moved them.
I would appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, certainly. Take a look. I don't think there was anything of monetary value there that we picked up. It already seems to have been rummaged through. But yeah, feel free to take a look. Go all the way down to the third level this time. We're slowly bringing this whole thing back together.
Are we about to die?
Yep.
Is that sky train gonna land right on top of us?
Yeah.
Well, I am at the very least glad that the elevator is working this time.
Yep. Sorry, you finished that sentence a little too early.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. I was having a drink.
I was taking a drink of water because this voice sucks.
Yeah,
Would you like me to
Cut
take
down
that
on
one
your
again?
like that road
Photos
down.
of Spider-Man.
All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Okay, that's
Right.
now on my...
So you've been given permission to go down to and the elevator's working just fine. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about with Rodana?
I think that was it.
All right.
So is Danny's cool, right?
Oh, yes. Tell us everything.
What about who?
She's like a cool person, like a good person, yeah.
You.
Trustable.
I'm gonna go back into Jeff now.
Hi, Jeff.
The Danny Navarro.
Mhm.
Do you guys remember an episode 3 or 4 or 5? You saved a guy
Yep.
named Navarro.
Yeah.
And Danny is his daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
That was your in
Yeah.
for
Yes.
the Paragon Freelancers. Okay.
But we
right,
want to
yeah.
know if she's cool because she's hanging out with Claire now.
Yeah. We got to vet our daughter's friends.
That's
enough,
right.
fair
We are
enough.
secretly vetting our daughter's friends
Okay.
with our daughter's friend's boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's this is what's happening here.
Yeah, in your professional opinion, is she like she's like good? She's like a good person?
Like, what? Yes.
Yeah.
Like
cool.
good is relative speaking. I would generally say,
Oh,
you
I
know,
Oh
don't
my
like
god,
that.
I wasn't gonna get into like the whole
Dive into the
philosophy of
feels.
like good versus like evil, but like, do you think that she's like a good person?
yeah, she's a good kid.
Okay,
If you-
okay,
Gets
that's
her
one.
work
That's
done.
one in the good column. I'll tally it up. Thank you.
Doesn't have any major vices that I'm aware of.
Okay, who's like her biggest enemy that I could ask the same question?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think she has any big enemies.
Okay,
Suspicious.
that's
That's good.
that's a con. Yeah, that goes in
Never
the con
trust someone
column.
with zero
I
enemies.
mean, everyone
no
here
enemies,
generally
no
pretty
enemies, no
likes
enemies,
her
no
quite a bit.
opinions, no stances. God. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
seem to make enemies everywhere we go. So
She's moved
must
up
be
in the
very
ranks.
good at things.
She's moved up in the ranks, you know, pretty quickly. She's very good
So
at,
con.
you know,
That's
Would-
bad. Capitalist.
would
Overachiever.
you, if you, I'm actually not aware. Do you have children?
No, I do not have children. I think that bringing children into the mercenary life is not maybe the most moral thing to do.
Nona ponders this silently for a
Again,
second.
into the philosophy.
Parents.
Oh.
Anyway, and says, if hypothetically you had a child and you found out they were spending time with Danny, you would feel
Fine.
okay.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Gotcha.
Is she telling the truth?
Fine.
You can roll it.
Inside check.
Roll
There's no insight
Whatever
into
the
system,
hell.
but what is it?
Is
It'd probably be
Wisdom
like,
notice? Or no, usually do connect.
a
I think.
charisma notice or something like that.
Fair enough.
No, connect is like
Yeah, something
I
else.
know someone
Yeah.
here, which we never
I've
use.
used that all of one time.
To
It's like-
find drugs.
to find drugs.
To find
It was
drugs.
useful. You found drugs.
As charisma notice, I got an 8.
Yeah, not Piclades.
Oh,
God. He's back. Rodana seems to be genuine. She seems mostly confused by the question, but yeah, as far as you can read from her, like she's more confused about what is being asked than like trying to obfuscate something about Danny's dark past.
Okay.
Okay.
For now.
For now.
All right. Thanks. Commander's your title.
Commander Rodana.
Commander Rodana.
Commander Rodana.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You know,
Commander
whatever you
Rodana.
want.
Thanks, Chief. No, bad.
It's okay.
Thanks, Hoss. Hoss is something people say.
Haas?
I've thought about trying that. I think it's cool.
I think you
Would
I
you
think
like
you
to
do
be a
like
hoss?
How you
No,
doing, Hoss?
absolutely, I'm not a Hoss.
Oh no, you just like to say it of others.
What? That's
All right,
that's
send,
what it's
send,
all right.
send the science man
All right.
in.
Thanks, Hoss.
See ya. Good talk.
Okay. Just fine. You know, as we're
Yeah,
leaving, like
no,
only
like,
fine was
seriously.
the biggest.
Is
Okay,
that-
that's bad. Yeah, because the spectrum, it's
Yeah.
excellent, great, good, average, with about fine.
Yeah.
Average and fine are interchangeable. Average
I
isn't
would
good
have
enough.
assumed fine and good were
Not for our space daughter.
No. Average is a fine is like on the higher side of average, on the lower side of good.
Nona's taking notes
That's
on
bad.
this.
That's bad.
We've got a new spectrum. to
Yes,
fill
we
out.
do. We have a new spectrum.
So you guys find yourselves back in the mess hall where you direct Leggett to Rodana's study, and he goes, "Well, thank you for the good word, and I will do my best." As he kind of just like scurries off.
If she puts a bag over your head, just go with it.
Oh, is this? Sorry, is this something?
Good luck. No, you're good.
Bye. Don't be late.
Oh, all right. Should I go in with a bag on my head?
No.
Well, it's important to make an impression.
She would remember you.
And he just looks confused and wanders off.
I thought he said he was good at interviews.
Yeah, you'd think he'd know about the bag.
This is rookie stuff.
You know, that's what I do in all my interviews. I walk in with a bag on my head, and they're like, "What's the bag for?" I'm like, "To make an impression." Does it work? And they just tend to say, "Get out." All right. So you guys have talked to Rodana. You've dropped your your recommendation for Leggett. He's off doing his interview. Claire is off with Danny somewhere. What are you guys gonna do? Are there things that you need to discuss between the three of you about anything in particular, or should we just skip ahead to something else that you guys are talking to? Just a reminder of some of the things that are on Glazov 5. Obviously, you've already talked with Quinn and Rodana. There is just Dix's bag of tricks now.
He changed the name. Cold.
No, it's still Zix and Dick's bag of tricks, but it is just Dick's there now.
Yeah.
Are the people who are on Jemena back in Glazov 5, or are a couple of them still in transit? Because we cut
tramp?
the
They have a faster, they have a higher spike drive than you guys do, so it goes faster already.
Oh, sick.
That's right.
I'm
The
gonna-
Laughing
Yeah.
Devil was already here.
Cool. I'm gonna go steal their spike drive then. I'm glad we know what we're doing now. I'm gonna go take whatever Tony has.
Just take it.
I think
Yoink it.
specifically also his ship is faster than our ship
Yeah.
because it's designed to it does that. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Whereas ours is more.
I don't even think it has hard points, or if
Yeah.
it does, it has like only one. But it's not like you guys get into space combat all that often, right?
Star Trek shakes.
Yeah. The entire space station just starts to, and the
Somehow.
alarm goes off.
Everyone, grip a table.
And so the other person that you would probably go to is Danny, who would generally give you guys a little bit of she's the handler of the Paragon Freelancers. She's the one that doles out contracts for folks, as well as just has the general happenings in the Tiger Head cluster.
Alex, write down contracts in the pros.
Excellent.
It's important to be able to read.
Yeah. And so what do you guys want to do with your time here? Or do you just want to get out?
I'm going to say, yeah, all right, well, this has been swell. I'm sure that Leggett's going to be set up great here. Seems like a perfect fit. That's great. Yeah, how about we just get going? How's that sound?
I would like an evening, maybe a day. I understand your desire to depart as quickly as possible, and I do want to be respectful of that, but I would like to gather some more information and then make a decision before we leave concerning what to do with Kyle Reed's mind seed.
Yeah, that.
The big question, is that something we'll cover in like a day? How long is it to get to Ursiame?
It's like, what, like 3
5
days?
days.
5 days?
Another 5 days?
Yeah, 3 days for the spike drill, and then another 2 days to travel to Orisiame.
Yeah, I mean, okay, is that something that you want to talk with Leggett more about, or is this more of just like I know there's a lot of thoughts to go on there, but could we like think about it on the road?
Well, I think I have been thinking about it on the road. I think he might be right. I think if I intend to find a fix for Tara, one of the two of them will know or be able to help. It lines up with, it makes logical sense, and it also lines up with the words of the prophecy.
Okay. I mean, like, I have no issue with whatever decision you end up coming to. I just want to make sure that with the incoming deadline, we have our timeline set up. We have like our priorities. We have to get to Urisiame, and then our timeline opens up. Yeah, like that's the next big thing that we have to address. We don't have to make that mindset decision unless you like really want to sit down and figure that out. It can potentially wait, just because I don't think we'll realistically have time to do anything with that decision until those 2 weeks are over.
Well, I'm worried about Tara in the meantime. I think that might also be a ticking clock of sorts. I don't know how much time I actually have to ponder versus taking action on this. And I think if I am going to take action on it, we have all of the pieces needed to do that right here, right now. We are in a robot factory. There is not a better time.
We can always come back.
It, like, no, look, I am gonna respect whatever choice you make as far as this whole thing goes. You know, I don't want you to end up like putting your faith in the wrong person and getting hurt, but you know as much as I do there, so it's up to you. As far as going through with that, like, do you know how long it would take to make a new Samantha Calvin? Like, listen, I understand, like, you're
Kyle Reed.
Kyle Reed. Okay, right. You have the mind seat for him. I understand you're worried about Tara. She seems pretty fine. I know that her situation is bad. I don't want to be callous. She's been like that a long time. Someone very important to me is going to get killed very soon. I would really like to get back home so I can plan with my other friends to like try and save his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just this is something that Nona would know. You have all of the materials. You have the material to print the core. You have the core printing device. You have the mind seed. As far as you understand it, the process would be printing the core itself, placing the mind seed inside, and that would really be it.
Kind of. We would also want to have a body for him.
You would need to have a body for him as well.
I'm kind of hoping one could ask Quinn for that.
Yeah. And so, like, that process, it is the true AI process, like building something from nothing takes a lot longer because it requires basically programming each incremental layer. This one in particular is literally just printing the thing that will house all of this, and the mind seed kind of does the rest for you. So you'd be aware it would probably only take somewhere between half a day to a day to create this core.
Well, that does...
just to understand, timelines here.
I think more of the concern is it's less about, do we have the time to do this thing, and am I rushing into this decision, which is valid.
Yeah, no, it's something like that. What I'm also going for is we have two timers here. Micah, who has a definitive time. We know that is 2 weeks. And Nona, we don't know what your timer is. That's the only thing. And if it ends up being, today or tomorrow before that comes out, that's terrifying. But there's nothing we can do about that. If it ends up being 5 or 6 months, then the time spent not addressing the coronation and the problems there is time lost. Is time where we could lose lives. So I think that, especially if we're doing a fucking prison break, which is like, I guess what we're going to do. I don't know why we're going back to Iriziame. Well, I do know why we're going back to Iriziame to do the prison break. It's because it's really important, but it's a whole damn thing. It's a whole damn thing. And it's going to require our full concentration if we're trying to get it done. While we're traveling though, any time that you want to invest into your goal with Kyle Reed, that's fine. We'll have a time we need to prepare. Though, is that okay?
Yes. In that case, I would like to briefly ask Quinn about getting some backup shells, I think, but I can contemplate this and decide this on the road, as you put it.
That brings me to my next thing. this is the one thing I ask. And Micah, I know this might be hard. Let's take one night. One night here on Glazov 5. Give Nona time to talk to Quinn. Let Claire spend one night here on Glazov 5, hanging out with Danny before we have to bring her back to Risiame. And then full steam ahead, all aboard the train to Risiame.
Okay. All right. I can do one night.
Right. We leave first thing in the morning. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Alex.
I can also see what sort of resources we can bring with us.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we're sticking around there's a lot of stuff here, so we might as well stock up. We're probably going to need it. Okay.
All right.
Right.
Okay. So you guys have a night and you're heading out the next day. Is there anyone in particular that you all are seeking out or anything else that you're doing on Glazov 5 for this evening? I figure, Nona, you might have some things, but
Yeah, I
Micah
got
and
some
Alex,
things.
before we do those, anything in particular that you guys are doing?
I would want to prep by visiting Dick's, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, do some shopping. Think, yeah, kind of low on some various explosives and things that are useful, so I'll see what he has in stock.
Alex?
Alex is like really just going to kind of walk around, maybe stop by the med bay to see if they have anything like readily available that I can grab from there or buy off of them or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to send one text to the group text with everybody just being like, at Claire, we leave like early tomorrow morning, 5 or 6, like 0500 or 600. Just be back at the Phoenix before then.
You see the thing that you get from text chat sometimes where you see Claire's typing.
Writing and then
then it goes away. Then you see Claire's typing again. And this goes on for like a couple of minutes until she just says, can't spend even just a little bit more time? Like just like a question mark, kind of like, that's
Alex,
one of her 25. You got to be careful.
Okay. Alex will text back, Claire, people might literally die if we spend too much more time, but we need time to prep. So
Like, in that text chat, you'll probably see like the same ellipsis from Micah a couple of times, and then just there's no.
yeah, Alex is typing as fast as he can. He doesn't want Micah to have to be like, no, like
get on the ship.
And then you get like that emoji with like the slanted face.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she says, yeah, okay.
okay, cool, thank you. And our heart reacts to Space Heart's react.
And so, yeah, you guys are going to head to Zix and Dix's bag of tricks. And in the public information folder, I have updated what they have. I've also highlighted a couple of new additions. There hasn't been that many changes, but you notice that I'm not going to RP this, but they found a couple more things while they were continuing to excavate. Particularly, they came across something that is called polyplast carapace. This is an artifact. It is quite expensive, but it is effectively powered armor that does not require any prior training to it. It gives you a base AC of 18, but it is for artifacts, there's generally no like single price that folks tend to pay. They oftentimes are priceless and are traded as such, but they have it on sale if you want for 50,000 credits, and also can rent it out to more established Paragon freelancers. Unfortunately, like Dix is like, you guys are awesome, don't get me wrong, but this is 50,000 credits worth of stuff and possibly more. So, we love you guys, but we're not at that level of trust just yet where you put down, 500 credits for this priceless artifact. The other thing are called grab harnesses, which allows for kind of personal flight. So it's a jetpack.
Sick.
Nice.
They found a couple of jetpacks.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
But everything else, same as it was before. You do notice that some of the stocks for some of the various pre-tech stuff that they have limited supply on have gone down, particularly around things like integrity and the various stims and pharmaceuticals there. But we can talk about what you guys spend your money on a little bit later, probably off air.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying now, I think we should buy them out of integrity. I did not realize how rare that stuff was, and it is awesome.
It's the good stuff.
It
That's
is.
right.
It is the good stuff, and they are already running low on it. I think they only have like
I saw
they have
five.
5 left.
Yep.
So
Cool.
By now.
We do not need to buy any of the Terran arms. We have those.
yeah, it's just that those are also going
That's
down.
right. I'm just
If you wanna-
calling out.
If you wanted to become arms dealers, just buy out their
We
stuff,
have
and
29 of those guns.
then maybe
We've
you
just
should
been sitting
sell
on
them
them.
in
That's
our
true.
in
and
our thing.
become arms dealers.
Does Dix want them?
No, we got too many of those things already.
They sound like hotcakes.
You always have more.
Although if you want to sell them at like a steep discount, because supply and demand and all of that,
Mhm.
Would the tailored anti-allergens be helpful in Orisiame? Renders local worlds, organics, and atmosphere safe for consumption. If natural biosphere toxic, it doesn't work.
No, sorry. That's
I see.
basically
Last
if the
24
natural
hours. Yeah, if it's toxic.
and Orisiame doesn't have a natural biosphere. It
I see.
is
Rocks.
a rock.
Gotcha. That's fair.
So there are some worlds. Genus might have a slightly toxic biosphere. I think there's Maloma Rodi.
Malo.
That might be the sector itself. But there is an irradiated planet that you guys heard from during the last. Yeah, Maloma Rodi has a slightly toxic biosphere and also a slightly irradiated biosphere.
For
So that might be
mysterious
useful.
reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, not mysterious reasons. Plants are weird. Sometimes
Oh, no,
they're
that's fair.
irradiated.
You made reference, I believe, a passing
Oh,
reference.
to the
Was that
irradiated few.
The
Oh,
irradiated many.
Oh, there's many of them.
There's many of
Don't
them.
worry. There's many of them.
That's right.
Um,
So that kind of makes me feel like that was not just a natural occurrence, but whatever.
Yeah, like I can protect us from some of that stuff, but it can't be bad to have some backup drugs in case something like that comes up. So yeah, I'm sure we'll do some good shopping here. And
Yeah, we should buy the flying things.
oh, for sure, there are 2 of them. I want to get both.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. So we can talk about that off air. That is you guys stocking up. Nona, you want to talk to Quinn. Do you also want to go to the
Yeah.
office of Dr. Samantha Calvin that Rodana pointed out?
I think at this point, Nona is feeling a lot of that time pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does want to do both of those things.
Okay. Any particular order?
Honestly, probably Quinn first. I need to know because I have also been working as a side project. I've kind of been jury rigging, I guess, kind of I've been trying to make myself a
shell.
backup shell
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like a while in case my actual shell gets destroyed.
Yep.
I want to talk to Quinn about that because it seems like basically she could make those for me on steroids.
Yeah. So you head down to Quinn again. Are you bringing anyone else, or is this just going to be
People
you
can
and you?
come with if they want, but honestly, I don't even necessarily feel the need to role play this one unless you want to. It's more
Sure.
of a here is my request for you. Can I have this?
Yeah. And so throughout this conversation, she takes a moment you get very technical very quickly. Like, this is not like a high level ask. You're like, true AI are inherently different than virtual intelligences. They require a much different routing of wires and setup. It is why normal true AI shells don't really look any similar to what a VI shell is. And it's why you couldn't necessarily just put your core
That's right.
into a regular VI shell, or like for any other machinery for that matter. Like, you were able to set up your voice, effectively your backup to like the comms system.
Yeah.
But in order to like completely reroute the connections there, you would have to spend a significant amount of time and probably a significant amount of money as well. So you guys get into the nitty gritty here, and she comes to the other side of it. It requires some experimentation on my part, but I do believe we have the capabilities to build such a shell of your construct. The face, though, and the skin and that stuff is, I'll be honest, a little bit more delicate than some of the work that I've done. I absolutely can make a core of yours work in something similar sized. It will likely look like a robot, though, but I can see what I can spin up with a more synth-looking shell, I think is what you're describing. Perhaps import some of what Silverlight Systems is able to do, as I understand it. They make pleasure droids of that ilk. So, yes, I can do some investigation there. But in the meantime, I do believe I should be able to start putting together something of that with a true AI core that could operate at a at a very high capacity.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Should I divert some of my resources to do such a thing?
Yes, please. I'd ideally like a few of them by tomorrow morning.
A few of them?
Yes.
Are you intending to go through that many shells that quickly?
I'm really not sure.
It will require me to push some of the machines into overtime and push back some maintenance, but I should be able to do so.
Thank you.
You notice something within her, something that you haven't quite noticed before, where there's like a pause. Very much, she's oftentimes very direct focused, like this is what I'm doing. But you notice that this conversation has piqued her interest. And she says, Nona, is something the matter?
I am not sure how to explain it, but do you actually remember what Kyle Reed and Samantha Kelvin were like as people? You've been waiting, I know, but the memories, they get fuzzy when you think back further. Do you know what they were like?
More impressions than anything. Dr. Reed was there was a warmth from him. It radiated outwards. Dr. Calvin was colder, but not in an uncaring way, in a very oriented towards one goal way.
She said she would come back for you, and she didn't for 20 years, at least.
No, it's been longer than that.
I know, but we know for sure that... Never mind. It's not very important.
She knew I was still going to be here. And she said she was going to come back.
Well, I think she should have come back and helped fix the place before any of these other creations that she was doing. I do not think highly of her because of this.
You believe her priorities were incorrect?
Yes.
I don't know what the intention of creating these other entities were, but I do know that she was always very goal-oriented, and she would check things off her list in time. So I had no doubt she would come back. She will come back, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Nona. I'll make sure to get those 2 shells together for you, and before you leave tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, please visit once again.
I will try my best.
And at that, she kind of just fades away, clearly changing her attention elsewhere. Not very good at saying goodbye. Just
Nah,
kind of
it's
like,
fine.
all right, this conversation's over. And just
Bye.
leaves.
Just
Bye.
turns and leaves. Yeah,
exactly.
That's fine. I get it. Yeah. All right. And then, yeah, I think I want to go check out the office.
Okay. So you take this lift to a part of Glazov 5 that you've never seen before. As you continue to go farther and farther down, you reach the innermost ring on the opposite side of Glazov 5, and you find yourself in a very similar ring to the inner side on the other, very much almost like a mirror image, like cut right down the middle. And so you come across similar things where it has, engineering on one side and research, and also has some habitation pods. This side is a little rough. There's clearly, like, they've gotten oxygen flowing again. You see, different members of the Paragon Freelancers working on various things, but there's definitely some sections that have been. We'll get to that in a bit. More working on the infrastructure, make sure everything is safe to be here. And so there are some areas that are a little bit more strewn of things, some areas that even still have these mummified corpses just kind of littered throughout, scattered, Terran mandate soldiers you would expect, other engineers and scientists. And that's where you find Dr. Samantha Calvin's room. You move towards this, and it's an area that hasn't had much notice. You do notice that this particular ring, the other side, they were dealing a lot with, biology of robotics, right? Like that is where you found Argos, in the middle of this ring that, was more looking at like what life and science in this like robotics can do. This one is very much a lot more, there's more electronics, a lot more circuitry, a lot more on the robotics itself. You notice that there's things for building together expert systems and VI. In fact, you see quite a few of the things that look like ADM 141 in various states of disarray and disassembly. It's very clear that there were some schematics that were built on this side. You find your way to Dr. Samantha Calvin's room, where you're met with a pretty Spartan room. And this is very similar to what you've seen of her normally. Although it has been rummaged through, you can't quite tell how long ago it was rummaged through. You see, like, the bookshelf itself did seem to at one point have a lot of books on it, but were clearly removed a long time ago. Like there's not even outlines of books on these bookshelves. Clearly what was ever taken from this room was taken a long time ago. You also see that the desk is open and there are files that are kind of spread out, and a quick look across those files, you just see various, expense reports and reports on various schematics and stuff like that. Very much the center of someone who was heading a very large arm of a robotics company, just strewn with a bunch of different things, sales requests, memos. And as you kind of go through some of this stuff, you move some of the papers around as you look at them, and you notice that for a room that you would expect to have been, where someone spent a lot of their day, there's really no personal effects here. But as you pick up a stack of these papers, the nondescript, not really giving you any information that you don't already know, you see that a photograph of a bunch of scientists and engineers in lab coats kind of standing on bleachers that kind of go up. And you probably count somewhere around, 70 or 80 folks here, some of which you recognize. Two people standing in the center of this group on the lowest level, holding Cal Reed Robotics Glazov 5 team, kind of between the two of them, both of them smiling quite happily. One side is a man that you're familiar with, Dr. Kyle Reed, and another one
Is it me?
is another person that you're quite familiar with and is a spitting image of yourself, Dr. Samantha Calvin. And you look at the back and you see a bunch of the names are written in. In fact, you see a Brandon Spiner among them as well, if you recall.
Yes.
The whistleblower, so to speak.
How dare he?
And is standing up more towards the top of the bleachers, kind of with like a half smug look on his face. And yeah, you also see a couple of a few Torque here and there, but it is mostly humans, and even one Ursum as well.
Cool. That's mine now for multiple reasons, but one of them being I don't necessarily know if I want somebody to know that I look identical to her.
Yeah. And so you take a look around the office and you leave. And that is where we're going to end today's episode. Class of 5. A bundle of laughs.
Love it here.
Our friend the train isn't going to send us off.
No.
Yeah, we have to send ourselves off now. Toot toot. Now we can't remove it from the edit.
It was
stuck here
impossible
forever.
already.
We're there. Just call it planes, trains, and automobiles and be done with it.
This azure blue glow fills the elevator compartment, and you just see Leggett take a step back and say, "Oh, that's a train in the distance, huh?"
God damn it.
It was going over you before too. Just keep going.
Third floor, trains.
I'm just gonna keep going.
Please do.
Sorry, give me just 1 second. Okay.
Fourth floor,
God damn it.
more trains. Well, it's not guaranteed or anything, but well, I'm hope. Next stop. Yeah, it's not guaranteed or anything. It's not guaranteed or anything, but I'm hoping to like yeah. Excuse me. Someone's back. That train is not